do want to share that we have, it's really exciting that LACOE was selected as one of 2 local education agencies across the nation to receive the prestigious Team Nutrition grant. And this grant has made it possible for us to hire a full-time nutrition and wellness specialist whose expertise and dedication have been so valuable to our nutrition education efforts in LA County. And it is my great pleasure to introduce our newest team member, Ivy Warounthorn. And she is going to share more about her background and the incredible work that she's been doing to support nutrition education efforts in select schools in Los Angeles County. So please join me in welcoming Ivy, and I'm going to hand it over to Ivy to take it from here. Thank you, Ivy.
Thank you for the introduction, Miriam. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I feel very honored to be your host for this month's sessions as we discuss topics in nutrition and food access, which is very close and dear to my heart since my passion is sharing my passion in nutrition. I'm a registered dietitian with a background in public health, and I'm the nutrition and wellness specialist for LACOE. So my role here is to plant the nutrition education seeds for you all so that you can help your students grow into healthier individuals. Hopefully these sessions will help guide and inspire you. I also wanted to point out that what you experienced before coming into today's session was an unofficial start that I will credit towards Carrie Ann, a teacher that I worked closely with recently in bringing live team nutrition in the classroom. So this is a practical and easy way to incorporate nutrition into the classroom by exposing students to healthy foods, whether or not they have sunglasses. So thank you all for sharing your inner avocados. I know with the weather going on, everyone's like a 5 right now. Right now, I'm kind of feeling in between a 2 and a 6, kind of like a cool nerd. So I want to take some time to go down memory lane together. So please share in the chat your favorite teacher in school. Doesn't matter what grade or when, subject, and what experience made that so, and why did that particular teacher stand out in your memories? So I'm going to take you back to my kinder days. My kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Haver, taught us a lesson on colors using food. She made blue pancakes and fresh carrot juice for us. And you'll probably find that most 4 to 5-year-olds' favorite juice is probably not carrot. So we weren't really a fan. And if I were adult me to go back in time, I would probably advise her to use blueberries instead of blue dye for the pancakes, but that was a different time. I also remember being one of the more dramatic kids towards the carrot juice, making gagging noises. So ironically, I am now a registered dietitian and advocate for nutrition education, sharing this story with you all now. And I wish I could tell you that the lesson inspired me to be a dietitian, but of course it didn't. I was 5. I had no exposure to what a dietitian even was until college. But the main point of my story is that little bit of exposure, that 20-minute lesson stood out as a memory for me because food has such a strong tie to our memories. Not only food, but her showcasing that she shared, she cared and she went out of her way for that. So looking at the commonality of all of your memories that you just shared within the chat, I can tell that it's like being creative, the teacher showing that they truly cared and listened to you as a student at the time. So, but what if we can change that? What if we can reinforce those lessons and introduce it earlier on? Repeated exposure and reinforcement could potentially lead to healthier outcomes, less prevalence of diet-related diseases, such as heart disease, diabetes, and obesity. This is just one example of the endless possibilities we can do in the classroom. So you can make memories with healthier foods and whatnot. I'm sure with your memories, you had your own Mrs. Havard that really impacted you in some way. You are the Mrs. Havard to all of your students, and you represent as a role model for them. Learning experiences can be so much more impactful with food and them tapping into their creative side and showing that you care. Which brings us to why this month is particularly special. It's National Nutrition Month. This year's theme is Beyond the Table. So just as I introduce my story of my kinder days, I want to inspire you all to think of nutrition beyond the cafeteria table, beyond the dining table. Specifically for today's lesson, I will take you to a place we all know too well, the classroom. I hope you follow me along on this yellow brick road journey into the world of nutrition, a taste, if you will, of what nutrition integration can do. So pop quiz. Don't you just hate it when you walk into class and the teacher yells out pop quiz? But don't worry, this is not graded. So please type in the chat box your top 3 healthy eating goals. Which of the following are preventing you from eating healthy? So now let's look into what you're currently eating. How often do you eat from the fruit group? Never, rarely, that's 0 to 2 days per week, occasionally 3 to 5 days per week, often or always more than 6 days per week. And how about vegetables? So I find that usually it's a little bit less when it comes to vegetables. So the pre-assessment you just took was actually taken straight from USDA's myplate.gov and is available for anybody to use. The quiz is available for anyone to use and can be tied to any lesson, such as Intro to My Plate lesson that was adapted from other USDA and Team Nutrition resources. So feel free to use the lessons that I have adapted and tested in a classroom recently using existing USDA Team Nutrition lessons that will also connect with other subjects. So we know all too well the prevalence of diet-related disease risk, but we can change that. We can prevent that, one student at a time. I'm sharing this statistic not to discourage you, but to actually encourage you. We learn a majority of what we know in school. A parent at a recent meeting shared with me that her child listens to her teacher more than she does to her. So teachers can make a huge impact, and you can change this number. But there's competition, of course. This survey was given to a group of 8th grade students that say their go-to resource for nutrition information comes from the internet, mostly. Google, social media, and sometimes family. And I'm not surprised about the numbers, so let's take a moment to watch this video to show what I mean.
Stop eating eggs. Why is nobody talking about how detrimental eggs are for our health?
Basically, your morning oatmeal is robbing you of nutrients, not a health food, horrible breakfast.
Throw the white bread away. If it's white, put it out of sight.
Stop eating fruit immediately. Eating too much fruit is the cause of diabetes.
My eyes just hurt from like rolling back so much, but it's true. The media has made nutrition very polarizing and confusing for a majority of us. So you can see why it's so important to have evidence-based nutrition education at our schools so our students can make informed decisions for their own health. Not everything that they Google, and definitely not everything they see and hear on social media. But not all is lost. There are definitely positive and helpful information on social media as well. I don't believe the answer is to avoid social media completely, because in this day and age, you simply can't avoid it. But Nutrition by Kylie is a fellow registered dietitian and a social media influencer with over 1 million followers, and she shares realistic health tips for the public.
Today I'm going to share with you what I tell people when they say they want to start eating healthier. You want to focus on adding, not subtracting, which means you want to focus on what you can add to your diet instead of what you want to take away. Let's take this bowl of cereal. Most people look at this and think, I should really stop eating carbs. But instead of thinking of what to take away, let's ask ourselves, what are we missing? Protein keeps us satiated, so we want to make sure we're having this with all of our meals. An easy and popular example would be milk, because it's a complete high-quality protein. That's why we feel fuller and satiated for longer when we have milk and cereal together. The second thing we want to add is fiber. Since many breakfast cereals may not have a good source of fiber, let's add some fruits, crushed nuts, and seeds. Not only will fiber keep us fuller, but it can help control blood sugar levels, improve our GI health, and lower cholesterol levels. Nuts and seeds also provide healthy fats, which can also help keep you full and help with the absorption of vitamins A, D, E, and K. Notice how our bowl is no longer just cereal. We can still have our favorite carbs, but perhaps as part of a larger meal that will help us stay energized and satiated.
So I love that she gives a strong, positive message of focusing on what you can add to your diet, not subtract from it. This message is emphasized throughout her videos, and I totally agree that we live in a society where going on a diet always means taking away something. and usually one of those vital food groups that we share so much in My Plate. I also wanted to highlight that she was applying a little bit of the My Plate concepts and adding fruits, nuts, more protein along with the milk to stay satisfied. So this journey may seem daunting at first, but I want to let you know that you are not alone. I'm going to share tips and useful resources along our journey to help you climb these hills and barriers. So, thoughts that come up could be, I'm so busy, how can I fit nutrition information too? Or I don't have any nutrition background. I don't see how nutrition will fit with what I teach. But hopefully after this session, it will become a natural part of your day. The seed of every habit is a single tiny decision. So let's take small steps together. As I share these tools and knowledge, keep in mind that you can take any or all and make it fit best for you. And you have my total support in that because I want you to be creative like your teachers did for you as well. As someone wise once told me, thank you, Miriam, we can feed two birds with one seed. Yes, I love atomic habits. Thank you, Allison. We can plant the seed for our students to grow into healthier individuals. You can accomplish this without sacrificing a lot of your time or what you're already doing. And I'm going to show you how